Hey guys, it's Scott from RalliTEK here. I've got a 2018 Crosstrek up in the air. Today we're going to do a rock slider install. So sometimes your pinch welds are going to be maybe a little bit messed up before the rock slider install goes. You'll need to straighten them out as much as possible. I got a little ding here from a floor jack, it looks like, so I'm trying to straighten it out. So we have the plastics out from under the car. The next step is to get the brackets on the rock sliders. So you can see here I've got the rear bracket on the forwardmost hole in the rear mounting points. When we move up to the front brackets, you can see this one has a 5th hole in the middle, and that one does not. If you see one that has a hole in the middle of the bolt pattern just like this one, that goes on the left side or the driver's side of the car. This one will go on the passenger side. And how to tell which side you're working on the rock sliders is we have an arrow right here. You'll see that arrow will point towards the front of the car. So this is the left side, that's the left side, and then it goes in right here. We have knurled nuts that'll go on top. These will bite into the metal, so you don't need to hold the nuts from the top when you tighten the screws from the bottom. You just get them barely finger tight. You still want to be able to move the brackets around to finalize their position. So you can see I can still move the bracket around. Got some slop in there, so if I need to move it one way or the other, I can still do that. That's all the tighter you need to get these. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys an alternate method of installing the rock sliders onto your car. My installation instructions say to put it together like this, put this up on the car. We're gonna mark the holes that will be drilled through the pinch weld. We pull it down, drill the holes, and then put everything back up together. I found this method I can do right here, right now. I can just get these parts together, and then I'll put it up on there, and I'll actually drill the holes through the rock slider. We'll throw some paint on them to make sure it won't rust, and then we'll keep going. So the rear bracket for the rock slider is going to bolt into these 3 holes here. You've got 2 factory bolts. Just want to remove those, and then we'll replace them with the supplied M8 bolts. Now that you've got your rock slider just kind of up in place, you can use floor jacks if you have them. We're using these pogos. We are on a lift. You've got a mounting hole right here. You've got one in the middle right here, and then one up front by the front bracket. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to drill out each hole and put the bolts in, and then tighten everything up, and this side will be done. So for mounting through the pinch weld, you're going to use the supplied M6 hex bolt and an M6 nut. It's got the serration, so it'll hold it again. You just want to put the nut up behind it like this. Put that in. The nut's started, so we can move on to the next one. For the outside to bolt the top to the bottom plate, we supply you with the M6 stainless button head bolt, and then another a serrated nut to go in the back. So you just put it up in there, and you use your tool to help spin everything back together. You want to go through and get all of them started on each side before you tighten down anything on the outside. So now that you have all the bolts started, we can start tightening everything down. I like to start with the frame side brackets, so do the front, the rear, Then we'll move to the rock slider side of the brackets. These are the pinch weld bolts are already pretty tight, so I'll just go through on the outside and be done. One thing to note, you will need to take this front bolt out to put the plastic on. So this is through a hole that holds that rear plastic under tray on the car. This bolt we're just going to leave like that because we'll need to remove it as well for it to go, the plastic to go underneath that. So I'm going to move to these bolts there and we'll get those tight. So you can see I can't get to the top of these, but the serrated nut, the teeth are grabbing it and it's tightening down nice and tight. Now that everything's tight, we'll start putting the plastics on. We'll start with the front and then do the back section later. Okay. We'll grab the M6 bolt that we took out of this bracket earlier. It'll go back in, you'll tighten it up and everything will get tight there. So now it's just working on getting all the plastic clips in place. So the rear, we're gonna hold up. We're gonna have to trim it for this brace. So just basically put it up into place where it's gonna live. See where I need to trim. I have to basically trim this part off right here. So this whole thing is gonna cut along right there. That'll come off. That'll give us the clearance around the brace that we need. Then for cutting the plastic, I just use a box knife. That's pretty thin, so it gets the job done. Just like that. Just put it up in place like this. We're gonna get a factory bolt going on this one as well.